if you guys ever saw Zelig, that Woody Allen movie a long time ago.
I don't remember.
He meets Freud at one point, and he says, but Zelig, he split with Freud over penis envy because Zelig thought it should be applied to men as well as women.
We could get you to close your eyes, you could concentrate. Whereas I think a lot of other people would be like, I've closed my eyes. Now I'm thinking about everything.
Yeah, I know.
The whole point of our P&L statement is that we want to focus on the extraordinary of ordinary people. And Dr. Matt, there's really nobody more ordinary.
That's true.
I try. But when you look at what's extraordinary about you, you're 6'7".
Well, that's something people would notice. Zoom call, I could be teeny.
No,
but that was a weird thing during COVID. Because I've been working with folks, and then COVID happened, and then it was like a year where it was like this. And then I would see them again in person, and they were also little.
You're so sharp. That's your tall.
I was like, oh my God, you're so little. Everyone's more or less the same size.
I remember one person telling me after they saw me, I didn't think you were that big.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that your mother?
I didn't think you'd be this big.
And you were like, no, don't.
Yeah. Well, I did. You don't look that long. Keep going. You don't look that long.
Yourself a hole.
Dr. Matt, for your height.
Rotund.
One of the things that people, and this guy must have been a master at his basketball team in college. And tell us about that basketball career of yours.
I know, so what I always like to tell people about basketball, of which I was always not very good at. When I played in high school, which is the last time I played organized basketball, I think they had me on the team because I was the tallest person in my high school, Santa Monica High School. Shout out to the Vikings. Great high school, by the way. A lot of famous people went there. Sean Penn, Robert Downey Jr., Rob Lowe, the Sheen brothers.
Did you know all those people were they around
I
your
didn't
age?
know. It's funny. I knew. So Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, of course, became famous. There was a middle brother named Ramon Estevez. He may still be out there. And I knew Ramon.
He became an accountant.
No, maybe. He was very awkward. I felt a little bad for him. Ramon, if you're out there, I'm sure things worked out well for you. But he was a little more awkward than his two brothers. And Emilio Estevez was ahead of me. Charlie Sheen was behind me, but he was on the baseball team with my brother. So my brother knew him then. And the funny thing was when all the Charlie Sheen stuff was happening, the winning, you remember when he was, he would show up and there was a guy named Tony Todd he was part of his entourage. But I knew Tony because he was friends with my brother too. And stuff like
I
that.
don't know Tony. Did you know Tony?
No, so I played basketball, but I think mainly because the center needed somebody to scrimmage against. I was horrible. And how horrible? How horrible were you? We were doing an exhibition game against alumni, and the ball was being inbounded. I got the ball, they sent it to me, and I put it right in the basket, scored a basket. It happened to be the other team's basket.
Get the fuck out.
So I actually scored a basket for the other team. So you asked me why I didn't have a basketball career. That anecdote. I don't want to tell it. I was not the worst ever. I don't want to say I'm the worst ever basketball player. But that was the most horrible imitation I could have come up with at the time.
That's embarrassing on so many levels.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel bad for you. Like I'm not trying to I get it. Like I could have been that person too. Where I got the ball, the basket's there.
Yeah.
I put it in.
But it just showed my level of game awareness and what's happening was just out the window. Ball, basket.
You should have closed your eyes.
I should have closed my eyes. I would have done so much better. All the guys on the team, man, if I had your height, man, I'd be dominating. I'd be like, if I had your skill, I'd be dominating. It goes both ways.
The height is sort of only.
I've got the height. I'm clearly not dominating. I'm dominating for the other team. Is that good? No.
What did the other team do when you?
They mocked me. People laughed. What happens when you do something idiotic that you've never seen someone do? And you're 6'7". You're like the tallest guy there. It's not like I could hide.
It wasn't the winning point, though, was it? Was it the winning basket?
No, it was
Oh,
just
okay.
a meaningless point in the
Stupid
middle of a
basket.
meaningless game in a meaningless sport in a meaningless place millions of years ago. Who cares?
You have
This
other
existence
talents.
of
So
ours.
where the extraordinary
I do have
comes-
other talents.
You do. You have a lot of other talents. It comes out in creativity. So you are a musician.
I
You're
am. I
a
can be.
writer. You're a singer. You're part of a band. You've
Well,
been an
not
MC.
technically.
No,
I'm not really
no.
part of a band right now, though I
You
could
have been.
be. I sort of am. So it's kind of funny. I've been in bands. I mean, most of my adult life.
Weren't you in Tanuka?
Yeah.
I was in the famous Chinooka.
Chinooka.
And those actually some of the last proper band I had, it's like 10 years ago now. I had this it was a kind of a stoner metal band called Frolicking Lamb. We were Frolicking Lamb. There's some really
We'll
we actually
link it.
it was
We'll
one of the
link it.
Oh,
best.
hold on a second. I need to put a pause there. So when I think of lambs, and frolicking, I either think of Mary had a little sheep, or I think
She had
of
a
She had
little
a
lamb,
lamb.
technically.
Famously.
famously
Mary had a mutton.
a little. I'm just wondering
Please
where
says
frolicking
Midas.
lambs came from. I also think of
it
lamb
was-
chops. I
I
love
think
lamb
what
chops.
had happened was one time we were jamming and we were talking about the rhythm, and we felt like it was kind of a gamboling, frolicking
Frolicking
rhythm.
lamb. I
Got
get
it.
And it was like
Got it.
that's like a frolicking lamb, and then we thought
Okay,
it was a
good.
gag. Funny, of all the bands I was in, I've been in, that was the one that was closest. I think it was the band that the 14-year-old Matt would have liked the most.
Why?
It
Why is that?
was the most like Sabbath or something. First of all, the lead guitar player we had was just killer. Like, he was an incredible guitar player. And all the songs were about wizards and dragons and swords and the whole 9 yards.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
know that you were
I'll
in the
send you the song.
mystical.
Our best song is called "The Stone Lords," and I'll send you a copy. It's really
Please do.
good. I mean, it's incredible. I play for people. They're like, "Wait, that's you?" Like, first of all, my vocal performance is like dead on. There's great guitar solo. It's
Awesome.
also, that was the other cool thing, is the lead guitar player worked still does at Berklee College of Music, and but he teaches. Or one thing he does is he taught recording software, how to use recording software. So we had all this gear.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
he would bring it, and we're getting rid of our stuff. I'm just going to bring it over. We're replacing everything. And plus, one of the things I always hated about music, like recording music, was perfectionism. It's like, I don't know if you've ever tried to record like music song
Yeah,
or
I have.
something.
They
But
usually
you know
cut
what,
my
yeah.
mic off when I try to record my voice.
Well,
It
but
is.
even if you're trying to record a video that you're trying to get dead on, like, for me, it was just like, oh my God,
never
everything was perfect except that little thing. And oh my God, I gotta say that. And also, and then you get it, but if I gotta do the balance. And like, this guy, he could do it for hours. Click, 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 just trying to make it better. And I go off smoking weed or whatever. Like, I don't want to, I'm so
Really,
bored.
I
I
can't.
wrote the song, I performed the song. You guys make it a thing, because I did my bit. You do your bit, and
Now,
we're good.
Speaking of music, the thing that I always remember that you told me was there's basically two strands of music. One is the Velvet Underground, right? And then the other one was what? Something more rock.
It was Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
Black-
yeah.
You go Sabbath or Velvet Underground. And from that day on, I'm always like, yeah, that's actually true. That works for anything.
What is
God.
Velvet
I'm
Underground?
so happy that, first of all, Velvet Underground. I don't know. You might have heard Lou Reed. Walk on the
Yeah,
Wild
Lou Reed, Walk
Side.
on the Wild Side.
Kind of Lou Reed. I
Nico.
get that. The look on your face, like Lou Reed.
Reed.
I see if
I
I.
think I met him at a conference. And
Yeah, yeah. No. So yeah, no. Velvet Underground was.
do with that.
Velvet Underground was a band from the '60s with. Everyone,
them
there were a lot of
before.
famous people in it, but Lou Reed was the most famous and became
Oh,
the biggest
Louis.
star.
Okay, not
Lou
Lumi.
Reed.
Okay.
Lou Reed. He had,
Reed.
take a hey,
Reed,
come on, babe,
Reed.
take a walk on the wild
Okay.
side.
Oh, yeah, I know
Hey,
that
babe,
song.
take a
I
walk
know
on the
that
wild side.
song. That's
Yeah.
Velvet Underground?
Yeah, because they were associated with Andy Warhol and his factory. And they were like the house band at the factory. And so, like, there was a woman, Nico, this
Nico.
German, beautiful model, was a singer for them for a while. There was a really talented and interesting guy, John Cale, played cello and bass, but was a composer, and he went on to have his own career too.
Stuff, yeah.
This is another part of you being extraordinary. You
yes.
have a PhD.
I do, famously.
Yes.
Well, not famously.
Famously.
Because if that were famous, you wouldn't have to explain it to everybody.
Well, and you also wouldn't be on this podcast. So
True.
what is...
Ouch, but okay.
Well,
that's
then
fair.
You would be
fair,
famous,
tough,
and
but
we're
fair.
looking at the ordinary with the extraordinary. So
No, Lee.
I mean,
I've always said that
PhD
about you.
is a big
Tough,
deal.
but fair.
Tough
but fair. That's right.
I went to Cornell, and I got a PhD in German. I wrote my dissertation about terrorism in West Germany in the 1970s. So this is why I feel like I didn't get a job in that world. So I was at a conference about post-war stories and stuff like that, and so I gave this talk about what if the Nazis didn't, because there was a lot of stuff, Marathon. Part of it you remember from the 70s, like Marathon Man and the Odessa Files and Boys from Brazil. There was also a thing called Day After Tomorrow, this big kind of airport novel, right? Yeah. And there was also a thing back then. Fatherland was also a what if Nazis had won kind of thing, and there's a guy who's a detective who's in this alternate universe. So it's always been this thing. It's like haunting our culture. What if the Nazis are still there? What if they come back? What if they're planning a thing? And so I gave this talk, and I said, well, people have this fear because the Nazis did win the Second World War, but not because Germany won, but because the U.S. won. And I argued that the United States was the first fascist country. And in fact, the Mussolini and the Hitler and those guys were actually imitating America when they took power. Now, Nazi jurists, when they wanted to create an apartheid, like when they basically wanted to create a segregated society and lock the Jews out, they looked at American jurisprudence.
That's right, they did.
And,
I remember that.
And kind of Jim Crow laws to figure, well, how do you do it? How do you set up a thing to make sure that the bad people go here and the good people go there? So it's like the Nazis learned from us. So at the end of my talk, this guy says, well, that's a very provocative statement, that you think the Nazis won the Second World War because America won. That's very provocative. Is that what you believe? And I said to him, well, do you feel provoked by this statement? He was like, yes, I do. It's like, then of course I believe it. He was the chair of the department at Duke, which I didn't know. I had no idea. For me, I'm going for the laugh. Right? Of course, people laughed when I said that, because what the fuck is this guy? And saying that.
So that was it. That was your death sentence right there.
Well, I was already on my way out at that point. Years later, like this was 10 years ago, I saw some friends of mine on Facebook. I saw that they were going to be doing a conference at SUNY Albany and about a topic I kind of cared about. So I said, I'll put in a proposal for a talk. And I did. They said, oh yeah, come and give the talk. I felt like if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be a very active participant. I asked questions after every paper. I was constantly saying shit. So then at the very end of this talk, this guy gets up, who happened to be the dean of faculty from Brown. And he had done a big translation of the author that the conference was about. But his perspective on things was one I just disagreed with. I noticed what you're doing in your reading is you're doing this, and it's clearly based on this guy's right. I said, but now we're talking Heidegger. He's like, not that there's anything wrong with that. And I laughed derisively, loudly. I'm like, ha! And at the end of the guys, first of all, it was so weird at the end, and then I was like, sorry, yeah, man, okay, I hear you. And I was like, I kind of backed down because I was like, what am I doing? Afterwards, this grad student who I'd met the day before, he's like, now I see why you don't have a job.
Yeah.
I don't care about authority, especially having to bow down to people just because they're in a position of power. I just can't.
It's so weird that academia is fraught with this kind of thing, even though you would think that in academia they'd be like, we're open to discussion in the Socratic whatever way, but they're not. They're very much like, well,
when you work in it, it's different when you're a student. A student can ask those questions, right? And the teacher is obligated. And the teacher is obligated to make sure that they think through what they're saying.
Because at least in sciences, you can point to data.
That's right.
I did this, we showed this.
That's right.
In humanities, it's much more about, is your argument compelling? It's more performative in a lot of ways, and you depend, which is kind of what I liked about it. because I could be performative and you could tell people, like, audiences liked it. And that's what I used to always get. I just think it's so great there's someone like you in the field.
Right.
Now, they were happy I wasn't in their department because that would have been annoying.
Matt, there's one, I think the most significant accomplishment of your existence is your children, right?
For me, like, it's weird because I was talking to someone the other day, and I can have kind of what we call in our house LSE, low self-esteem, and
you have low self-esteem?
I actually do, Lee.
But you're so tall.
I know, you'd think I have a high self-esteem, but it's just tall self-esteem. What I want to say is sometimes I can feel critical. Like the other day when I was talking to you, Lee, and I referred to myself as a loser. And so a lovable loser. I like to think lovable.
You are definitely a lovable loser. You're totally lovable loser.
Lovable loser. And but again, I know the whole thing about loser thing is like, I mean, what I say to people is like, sometimes it depends on what you're comparing yourself to, right? Like one of my roommates from college won the Nobel Prize in physics. Okay, so as I'd like to tell people, how do you think that made me feel?
Yeah, dude.
Because it's all about you.
Come on, man.
Come on.
How am I supposed to compete with that?
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Did you talk to him? Did you actually congratulate him and talk to him?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've hung out with him.
Notice how high up his voice went?
I know. Yes.
That's great. Great work. Great work.
But,
yeah.
But I feel like
I
can be. I mean, I feel like I know people, or have known people who have had very big, very public accomplishments. I mean, a guy I knew in grad school won the Pulitzer Prize for literature. A woman I knew in grad school won the National Book Award a few years ago. Another woman who I knew from that time just been nominated for Emmys because she was a writer for a very famous TV show. Like, so I've known people who I feel like have had what are big accomplishments. I mean, winning the Nobel Prize.
And they always get celebrated. But Dr. Matt, this is about you. You are extraordinary.
Exactly.
You are not a loser. We are here to confirm that you are not a loser. I mean, in some circles, sure, you could be considered a loser, but not in this realm.
No.
Like, we're not talking about academia.
Obviously,
we're not talking
from
about
certain perspectives,
Hollywood,
definitely a
we're
loser.
not
No
talking
question.
about, the sciences. We're talking about right here, right now, where you really excel. When you think about it, in this particular, you excel at many.
No, well, here's the thing, though.
Luca, you haven't had kids. I haven't had kids, right?
No.
So
I think of you guys as my kids, but but Lee, oh no, don't ask me for money. But that's the.
Oh yeah.
I was just trying to think, what's in the will? Do I want to talk about the will now? Do I want to talk about health care for me as I or do we want to?
No. So that's the thing, though. I do think, and what is a life? And I love that you guys are focusing on the ordinary people. Like our whole, you go in LinkedIn, right? Everything's extraordinary. Everything's the most intense thing. Everything, and it's just like. And it's interesting, too, when you see people like, no, I know the story there. I'm like, okay, I see why you're portraying it that way, but I also know the reality.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot of ways to cut it, and I hate the kind of worship of success and what that means to people and stuff like that. So to your point, though, Lee, I have a great relationship with my sons, and I'm very proud of them and inspired by my two boys, and there were struggles when we were younger, and it wasn't clear how things were going to work out. And obviously it's still early days. They're just in their 20s, but it's something I don't want to say take pride in, but it's something I'm happy about. And it's meaningful to me. And I know I made choices to do things for them, to do things with them, and I prioritized that. And I'm happy with it. I mean, the same thing, and I could argue easily say with my marriage. I mean, we just had our 31st wedding anniversary.
Congratulations!
Yesterday.
That's amazing.
I know,
Awesome.
and it's work, and it's like I have friends, especially now when you get to be of a certain age, like we are. It's hard, and it's hard to be in a relationship, and it's hard to be a parent, and it's hard to feel good about that, and like. the fact that my kids call me to talk to me matters to me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
going to
that
call you
doesn't-
more often now that you've adopted me.
talk,
That we've
talk.
had this on a recording.
I never hear from you guys.
Yeah.
What is your phone? I'll send you a phone.
Something.
What's your phone's broken? What? You didn't pay your electricity bill?
So I would say, Dr. Matt, you have lived an extraordinary
I
life.
used to refer to
I have a
myself,
degree.
I don't know if you remember this, as the poor man's Matt Grant.
Yeah, the poor man. Yeah. So I'm talking to people.
I
with
mean, I'll fill
extraordinary
in.
brains.
I'm not.
They just let me play in the same sandbox.
I'm no Matt Grant, but close
We have
enough.
this conversation
Close enough.
going. I have my own conversation. They have their own. It's been like that for decades. You know what? It was great talking to you. It was great talking to both of you.
Yeah, but this is over.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for joining us.
It's been.